Compliments of the seasons, and thank you for staying with us on the Third Eye Television, broadcasting from the Central Business District, Abuja, where we give you the best of news and information within and outside the country. Good morning. This is the 23rd of December 2024, and of course the year 2024 is coming to an end. My name is Ivan Magoni, and up next is the news. And in our headlines, the Nigerian government warns against politicization of tragic incidents in parts of the country where scrambles for palliatives and food items led to the death of scores of people. And then the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps deploys thousands of its personnel to ensure the protection of lives and critical infrastructure across the country during the Yuletide season. 5-year ban on mining activities in the north central state of Zamfara lifted by the federal government. This and many more right after the break. Thank you for joining us in the news. The Nigerian government has warned against the politicization of stakeholders not to impute political meanings to the tragic incidents in Ibadan, Abuja, and Okija, where scrambles for palliatives and food items led to the death of scores of people. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris, who met the appeal in a statement on Sunday, promised that the hard times the country is currently going through would be over soon. This comes after 67 people, 35 of them children, reportedly died in stampedes in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, Okija, Anambra State, and Abuja during a fun fair and food distribution ceremonies. However, the main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, described the tragic events as an ugly testament to the level of misery, poverty, hunger, starvation, hopelessness, and desperation for survival under the Tinubu-led All Progressives Congress APC government. Similarly, Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, HORIWA, expressed concern over the spate of deaths from economic relief-related stampedes, attributing them to the government's failure to address the worsening economic conditions. The information minister insisted that the tragic events were in no way connected to the Tinubu administration's economic reforms. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, has reaffirmed that the sacred duty of defending Nigeria's sovereignty is entrusted only to individuals who demonstrate exceptional traits and abilities. He stated this at the passing out parade for Basic Military Training Course 44 of 2023 held at the Military Training Center, Nigeria Air Force Base in Kaduna. Air Marshal Abubakar commended the recruits for their perseverance and dedication, emphasizing the transformative nature of their training. The Chief of Air Staff urged the newly inducted airmen and women to uphold the Air Force's core values of integrity, service before self, and excellence in all they do. Air Marshal Abubakar also underscored the pivotal role the new recruits will play in addressing Nigeria's security challenges, noting that many will be deployed to operational theaters and internal security operations. And still on security, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, CDC, has deployed 25,000 of its personnel to ensure the protection of lives and critical infrastructure across the country during the Yuletide season. In a statement released in Abuja, the Commandant General of the NSCDC, Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Audi, also directed all the Assistant Commandant Generals and the Commandants in charge of zonal and state commands to ensure strategic, adequate deployment of officers and men to ensure a hitch-free celebration during the Christmas and New Year festive periods. The Commandant General called for the implementation of comprehensive operational strategies and robust security arrangements throughout the country. He charged the senior officers to ensure the personnel deployed are adequately supervised for utmost professionalism in the discharge of their duties. Meanwhile, the federal government has announced the lifting of the 5-year ban on mining activities in Zamfara State, northwestern Nigeria. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alaki, who announced this in a statement, said The decision is aimed at rejuvenating the local economy and addressing the region's security challenges. The mining ban imposed in 2021 was intended to curtail the alarming rise in banditry and illegal mining operations, which were believed to have fueled insecurity and contributed to a shadow economy that financed criminal groups. Over the years, Zamfara State became synonymous with the artisanal mining of gold and other valuable minerals, attracting both local and international attention. However, the ban stifled legitimate mining ventures and left the region's economy in a perilous state. The federal government has declared Wednesday, December 25 and Thursday, December 26, and as well as Wednesday, January 1, 2025 as public holidays to mark Christmas, Boxing Day, and New Year celebrations. This announcement was made by the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, through a statement signed by the ministry's permanent secretary, Magdalene Ajani, on Monday. The minister extended greetings to Nigerians, encouraging them to embrace the season's values of love, peace, and unity. He further emphasized the need for Nigerians to strengthen familial and community bonds, fostering harmony that contributes to the national development. He expressed optimism that President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda will drive the country towards a more prosperous 2025. Thank you for staying with us. Coming up is the newspaper headlines for today across the country. Thank you for staying with us. Starting with the Punch newspaper. Thank you for staying with us. And now to the national dailies, starting with the Punch. Okpebholo preaches unity at Edo Christmas Carol. And also breaking NNPCL stations drop petrol price to 965 naira per litre in Abuja. Christmas, Plateau Governor provides free transportation to ease economic burden. Don't stifle generosity, Peter Obi criticizes IG's directive on palliative distribution. CSOs to independently assess Port Harcourt refinery, January. And then Edo Police Command urges collaboration to prevent stampede. IG never ordered beating or attacks on policemen during stop and search. That's according to Force Police Relations Officer. FG declares holidays for Christmas, New Year. 7 dead in Western Mexico plane crash. And moving to the Vanguard newspaper, Yuletide, the federal government declares December 25, 26, January 1 public holidays. There will be only 2 genders. Trump promises end to transgender lunacy. President-elect Donald Trump on Sunday pledged to stop the transgender lunacy on day 1 of his presidency as Republicans get control of both chambers of the Congress and White House, continue their push against LGBTQ rights. I've never criticized Tinubu. A good man doesn't spoil another good person's name. That's according to Doyin Okupe. And tax reform bills, why we insist on withdrawal. Ndume. 2025 budget lacks reforms bereft of fiscal discipline. That's according to article. Abuja stampede crowd overwhelming. We were swept away. That's according to survivors. Outrage as 4 men murder Nigerian man in South Africa. End bad governance, protest. Police demand apology from Amnesty International over false killing claims and criminal negligence. Poverty behind deadly stampede, claiming 105 lives in Nigeria. That's according to Falana. Moving to the nation's newspaper, Troops neutralize 13 IPOB members. Nab 3 kidnappers recover firearms in southeast. Pay local government workers now or resign. Governor Wefaru warns council chairman. Hajj Commission seeks Wamako support for 2025 Hajj exercise. Jimoh Abdulkadri, IGP visits family of deceased detainee rather. Investors net 1.1 trillion naira in post-budget rally. That's on the business side. Moving to the Daily Trust newspaper, Nigeria Daily, uncovering hidden hands that push Nigerians to stampede. Stampede kills 213 Nigerians in 11 years. And then talking about Yuletide, airfares skyrocket amid operators' capacity crunch. Federal government declares public holidays for Christmas New Year celebrations. Tinubu mourns Justice Uthman Argungu. UBEC pledges digital libraries for schools. Late Rafa Salami lived an exemplary life. That's according to Idris. This and many more we'll discuss right after the break, where we'll be having our press review with a seasoned journalist and a public affairs commentator in person of Mr. Udo Etefia. Do stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Now, according to the headlines we just looked at now, Nigeria has lost over 213 people in stampedes in the last 10 to 11 years, which is a worrisome situation. Now, the Nigerian government warns against politicization of this after what happened in Oyo State, Anambra, and of course here in the FCT. And they are cautioning Nigerians, civil society organizations, opposition parties, and individuals against politicization of incidents in parts of the country where scrambles for palliatives and food items have led to the death of scores of people. And right now we have Mr. Udo Etefia with us in the morning. Mr. Udo, good morning. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good morning.
To our last week we didn't see you
Yes.
due to situations beyond our control.
Sure.
Thank you. Good to be here again. Now, we're talking about the federal government warning opposition against politicization. But do you think the opposition is politicizing the whole situation, and they think it's chronic poverty due to economic policies that are causing these stampedes across parts of the country?
Yes, I think those who are criticizing have the right to criticize. And it is the work of the opposition to criticize the government in power when things are not going right. Right now, we see that the policies of this government seem not to, especially the economic policy, seems not to be going right. And that is why you see people, going through what they are going through currently. The events in the past 1 week testifies to this. A situation where people go to collect palliative food items in order to take care of their families is what is responsible for the tragic death of a number of Nigerians in different parts of the country. We heard the one that happened in Anambra State. Then there was one in Oyo State, Ibadan, before the one in Anambra State. Then another one in Abuja. And scores of people died. Why? Because they cannot on their own feed themselves, feed their families, and that is why whenever they hear that there is food distribution, people go out in their numbers, irrespective of what has happened to people that went out yesterday. If they get to hear today again, you'll find out that people will still troop out, because it's like saying, if I stay back, hunger may kill me. Let me even go there and see if I can get something for my children. That is what is happening. And I think the opposition is right. It is their duty to criticize so that the government can learn a lesson and see if they can mend their ways.
True that. We go out We may likely die if we stay back. We may likely die of hunger. So why not we just risk it and go out there? Now, I remember a couple of months ago, the federal government said it was importing rice into the country and distributing to various parts of the country. Was it 40 tons or 40,000 or 400,000 tons? I know it was 40 or something tons. Now, this rice was distributed to various parts of the country, but we have not seen so many people say they benefited. Tons of rice where in the FCT we have up to, if not more than 2,000 trucks being imported into Nigeria, into the FCT, and yet we're yet to see people who said we benefited from it. So we are now asking, do you think the federal government is making attempts in alleviating the, the suffering of the people, looking at the poverty and the hunger that is in the land at the moment?
I want to say that food distribution, palliative sharing, can never be a solution to the current economic crisis. Because you find out not only under this government, the previous government was also distributing food items to cushion the effect of the suffering of the people, but they never alleviated any suffering. And that is why the situation still continues today. I think what the government should do is to look inward, take a critical look at what its policies are. Are they working? The withdrawal of petrol subsidy, is it working? These are the things that fuel this food crisis. Transportation cost is on the top of the roof. And you find out that the rate of the naira to the dollar, because some of the things are imported. And by the time you bring in these things, you discover that the cost would have skyrocketed beyond the reach of the ordinary Nigerian. And that is why the government need to sit back and look at the policies. And if you try a policy for 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 years, as it has been in this government, because on the 29th of May, 2023, the president, who was being sworn in then, announced the withdrawal of fuel subsidy. And since then, the situations change dramatically in the country. So government should now say, I've tried this policy for 6 months, for 1 year, for 1.5 years. Is it working? Then from there, they begin to think outside the box and know what next to do.
Proper assessment is what he's talking about now. 5-year ban on mining activities in North Central State of Zamfara State lifted by the federal government. And this is also not neglecting the fact that weapons that were used in the fight in 2011 in somewhere around Libya are also found in Zamfara State. But at the moment, the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, says that the ban on mining has been lifted, but we just want to look at it and say, do you think it's okay for the federal government, do you think it's the right time to lift the ban on mining activities in Zamfara State? Do you think it's going to help? Because I don't think the security situation in that part of the world is still okay. I don't think everything is, has been beaten to the point where we say we need to lift the ban on mining.
I want to believe that the government is not trying to play politics with the lifting of the ban. The minister has said that the government has conducted an assessment of the security situation in Zamfara State, and to the best of the knowledge of the government, that the situation has improved. That is what the minister said, and that the lifting of the ban is now necessary in order to boost the economic, situation, activities in Zamfara State, improve the lives of the people of Zamfara State and Nigerians in general. That this lifting of ban is going to bring both local and foreign investors into the state. So I want to believe that the government is in a better position to assess the economic or the security situation before announcing this lifting of the ban. And that is why I'm saying that I hope they are not playing politics with it. Because don't forget that the Minister of State for Defense, the former governor,
Yes, Bello
is from that
Matawalle.
state, Matawale. And the governor is from APC, and the governor of the state is from
PDP.
PDP. And two of them have been, a kind of not wanting to see eye to eye
They've been at loggerheads with each
yes,
other.
in the development of the state. Could it be that the ban is lifted in order to, I don't know, but I want to believe that, as the minister has said, they have a better assessment of the security situation there before they decided to lift the ban. And it's going to be for the good of the people of Zamfara State.
And so how credible is it that weapons that were used in Libya are also being found in Zamfara State? So is it the right time to lift the ban, looking at the fact that, and the likes of Bello Turji are still out there. Bello Turji has not been arrested. There's no report of whether he's still alive or dead. Sometimes they come out, I think the last time we heard from Bello Turji was when he was asking, he specifically said, they should investigate Defense Minister Matawale, and he has not. We've not heard from him again. Neither have the security agencies come out to say anything. Unless in the news, while reading this morning, I found out that 102 terrorists in that region have been arrested. So nothing has been heard about Bello Turji. But the government was complaining and saying, look, the reason why we are lifting the ban is to restore the economic viability and also make Zamfara State contribute its quota, just like the oil in the Niger Delta region. So these mining activities, they say we put the ban there in order to curtail, and now they say we need to. It's really confusing.
Well, for Tunji Bello, or Toji Bello, the terrorist commander, for some months now we have not heard from him. He used to be very vocal, but for some months now we have not heard from him. What has happened? Nobody knows. It's only the military. The military have been operating in that area that can say the state of things concerning him. So, but for whether it is the right time to lift the ban or not is still, because the government is up there. They have all the security apparatus to assess the situation. So it is what they tell us that we go along with. Until after this lifting of the ban, when we see things beginning to happen, when we see that there is security, then we know that the assessment was right. But if the insecurity continues, then we know that the assessment was wrong. So I want to believe that they have done their homework before they decided to lift the ban.
And also, hopefully, it is not a way of frustrating the governor of the state at the moment, because it wouldn't sound right if there's still a number of people being kidnapped and being killed, and you say, hey, you can go about and mine your gold, your lithium, and whatever mineral resources you can find in Zamfara State, which has been the solid reason behind this insecurity, according to reports so far. But now let's move to the Yuletide season. Christmas is just by the corner. We can't say it's by the corner. Just like I stated earlier, season's greetings, and just tomorrow is 24th, and we have our Christmas. So how do you think Nigerians are going to fare in this Yuletide season? Do you think this year's Christmas is much more better than last year, looking at the fact that the president came in last year and, removed fuel subsidy, but things kept on? Do you think this year's Christmas will be a lot better than that of last year?
Cannot be a lot. It cannot even be better than last year, because the cost of things, prices of food items are skyrocketing. And that is why we have this stampede, because families cannot afford basic necessities, basic food items to celebrate Christmas. So nobody can say, except maybe those in government, but the ordinary Nigerians cannot say that things are better, because you cannot even travel. To travel from here to the east or even to the west, somebody just came back from Lagos, paid on the road 65,000 naira. Bus, if you go to and fro, is 100 and about 30,000 naira, minus other things you have to do on the road and some other movements from your house to the park or somewhere. Then talk of airfare. They are talking of about 200, 300,000 naira return ticket. So things are not better. Things are even getting worse than it was last year.
Last year, I traveled to Kaduna in December. I spent about 6,000 naira. This year, I was being charged like 10,000 naira. So that's how crazy it's becoming right now. But just before we go, Donald Trump has also promised that on his first day in office, he is going to make sure that anything that has to do with LGBTQ and other alphabets in the United States of America are swept under the carpet and completely do away with that. And also, he will recognize just male and female gender. What do you have to say about that, Mr. Udo?
Well, this is the policy that he campaigned for and which made Americans to elect him. And from what we know of Donald Trump in his first outing, his first term, we know that he's going to go along what he has said. How he's going to enforce it, you know, now he has the Congress in his control. Under him, the House of Reps and the Senate are Republicans. They have majority. So whatever he wants to do, I believe he's going to have his way, you know, as long as members of the Congress go along with him. And I know that Americans, they are not like developing countries. So the Congress have independent-minded members. If they decide not to go along with Donald Trump, they would not go along, despite the fact that they are from the same political party. So that is the way I look at the American politics.
Okay, and that's it. And I think Nigerians are taking to social media and talking about this. And some are even saying, thank you, Goodluck Jonathan, for refusing to sign any pact that will make Nigeria an LGBTQ friendly country when it was, you know, it was more of like he was asked to do that. But right now, joining us in sports is Margaret Adewale. She'll be talking about home base Super Eagles playing a goalless draw with Ghana, results of the Nigerian Professional Football League, results of EPL, and many more. Welcome, Margaret. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, the Nigerian home-based Super Eagles on Sunday played a goalless draw in the first leg of the qualifying matches for the 2025 African Championships at the Accra Sports Stadium. The side led by Remo Stars coach Daniel Ogumodede were solid in their defense and tireless in midfield, but they were unable to score as they avoided defeat against the Black Galaxies. The only attempts of the game that could have sealed victory for the Super Eagles side came midway through the second half, but Adam Mbakar's effort came off the goalpost. Coach of the Super Eagles side, Daniel Ogumodede, after the encounter said he knew Ghana were going to be tough, but they knew they were good enough to get a positive result. The home-based Eagles will trade tackles with Ghana on Saturday, December 28, in the return leg of the CHAN qualifiers. The match will be played at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, where a victory for the side will see Nigeria advance to the tournament. And in the MPFL, match day 18 games of the Nigerian Professional Football League were played across the country over the weekend, with Shooting Stars, Remo Stars, Abia Warriors, and Kwara United recording notable victories. Shooting Stars pulled off the most significant win of the weekend as the Oluyole Warriors turned champions Rangers International with a 1-0 victory in Enugu. The win was an historic feat for Shooting Stars, as it was the first time they would beat Rangers away from home in over 20 years. The win saw Shooting Stars rise to third on the league table with 30 points, 2 better than fourth place Rangers. In other matches, Abia Warriors pulled a convincing 2-0 win over Ikorodu City, courtesy of first goals from Ijoma De Souza and Sunday Megwo inside the Umaya Township Stadium. Super Eagles legend George Finidi continued to wave his magic with Rivers United as the Port Harcourt side forced Nasarawa United to a 1-1 draw in Lafia. Joshua John gave the host the lead in the 14th minute, but Kabiru Abdullahi converted the second half penalty to end Rivers United a draw and maintain their status as league leaders. Remo Stars joined Rivers United at the top of the MPFL table, following a 2-0 win over Bayelsa United in Ikenne. Earlier on Saturday, Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa netted a 90th minute winning goal that inspired Kano Pillars to a thrilling 2-1 win over Niger Tornadoes, and Sunshine Stars defeated Air Kanemi Warriors 1-0 in their abducted home at Remo Stars Stadium in Ikenne, while Bender Insurance overcame Lobby Stars by a similar scoreline in Benin City. In the last game of the day, Kwara United needed an 85th minute penalty to secure a slim 1-0 triumph over Castina United in Ilori. And lastly, in the EPL, Liverpool will go into Christmas 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League table and with a game in hand after they trashed Tottenham 6-3 on Sunday. The Liverpool side were impressive from the start to finish as they made their hosts pay for their naive nature with a ruthless performance. In other matches, Chelsea played the goalless draw with Everton on Sunday. The result puts Chelsea in second place with 35 points, 4 points better than league leaders Liverpool. Manchester United lost 3-0 to Bournemouth on Sunday. The loss leaves Manchester United in 30th position, with 22 points. In other results, Fulham played the goalless draw with Southampton, while the match between Leicester City and Wolves ended 0-3 in favor of Wolves. And that is sport. My name is Margaret Adewale.
Yeah, and that's the debut of Margaret on television for the first time. How does it go? Are you feeling having some kind of mic fright? Are you feeling nervous or something?
Yes, a little bit.
A little bit?
Yes.
Well, you did well. That's the debut, but don't worry. Things will pick up from now, okay?
You.
It's a great one, and we look forward to having you here do your sports thing on Third Eye Television.
Okay.
I remember my first day on radio or TV, and it was not funny. But so, it's great having you here.
Thank you.
So how's the Christmas going to be for you personally? Because I believe myself I'll be here.
Yeah, as broadcasters, you know that Christmas or no Christmas, we continue what we know how to do best.
All right, thank you. Broadcasting from the Central Business District at Abuja. You're watching the Third Eye Television, and this is the morning show. My name is Bivan Magoni. It's been a great time with Udo Etefia, a journalist and public affairs commentator, and of course in sports, Margaret Adewale. And a big shout out to the production team and other members of the team right here at the Third Eye Studio. Do have a fantastic day.